we're talking about answering the call. And sometimes you don't know what the call is or what you're answering. And we certainly weren't aware of what we were going to do when we went to South Dakota, Bear Butte, Sturgis area. At least I wasn't. Were you aware of what we were going to do completely?
No.
No.
Not included.
And yet, what an amazing experience it was.
So we thought we were going out to create a workshop, or wasn't that the original intent? Was that we were going to go create a workshop
Class
together,
or something,
together. And we get to the B&B that we stayed at in Sturgis and hung out for the day and didn't really get too many messages about what we were going to create, so we went for a short little hike. Or we thought it was a short little hike.
we really thought it was a short little hike.
I believe that we just need to go to Bear Butte. Isn't that what you said?
Yeah, we weren't actually even going to hike all the way up.
Just need to go to Bear Butte.
True. It's true.
We're just going to go midway.
Just going to check it out.
Not so much.
Yeah, they didn't give us all the information. Because I'm not sure we would have answered that call if we knew we were going to hike all the way up to Bear Butte.
Oh. So what happened was we started walking up the mountain or the hill. It was more of a mountain that day.
Yes.
And it just kept going. Like the mountain kept growing and the dimensions kept popping in, and we would walk through a dimension and then we would look up at the switchbacks to see how many more we had, and there was 6 switchbacks, and half hour later we would look again and there were still 6 switchbacks. It was like,
and they were different ones, but there was still 6 of them.
yeah. So this short little hike took us 5 hours. Moving in and out of dimensions. We uncreated one of the laws of chaos, which was
The law of abandonment.
law of abandonment on the way up, which is what took so long. Which was really cool, actually. Learned what a super soul was, or had an experience or a dimensional experience about what a super soul was. What else did we do?
We got information on
Excuse me?
on galactic elements.
Excuse me.
Water,
Yes,
fire,
we did.
right? Water, fire, earth, air, and metal aren't just earth elements, that they're galactic elements, and that when you use the galactic elements, you get different results than when you use just the earthly elements. So that was really interesting. That was one of those pieces.
I'm going to back step a minute too, because before we walked up, I said, "Is there a pyramid there?"
Oh, that's right. You did.
And Angela said, "Hi, golly, there is." No, I don't know what you said exactly, but you said, "I never noticed that before. There is."
Yeah.
And then we began going up. So, yeah.
Right? And wasn't we about halfway up when we looked out on the field and we could see the old medicine wheel in the ground?
Yep.
That's about halfway up, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So what did we do with the medicine wheels?
I think we just sat for a bit and...
Because we did something. I don't know what.
Oh, we spun them the other way.
that's right.
Yes,
That's
that's
what
right.
we
We did. We did.
Because the medicine wheels needed to be reversed in order to actually work now and move us in our consciousness.
Yep.
Because the other ones held in the limitations and now they are open to expansions. So, what else happened?
Well, and then as we climbed, it just kept feeling like instead of getting closer, it was.
Further away.
And so one of the other pieces in going up here, we did not realize the length of it, so we really were not prepared. We didn't have sunscreen.
No.
We had some water, but we didn't have a lot of water. We didn't have snacks really. And we just kind of jumped in full force and just said, "Yep, we're gonna." And we did it. So for any of us, tell me if I'm speaking out of turn, but we usually are pretty prepared when we do things, and this was completely different. in that we
Yeah.
just went.
We just went.
We just did it.
We just followed.
Okay, that was with
Our intuition. Yeah.
Yeah, our intuition said we need to go, and we just went.
We did.
And there was the whole thing with this. Do you remember the smell? Was it the grandmothers that we walked
Yeah.
There was that. Yeah.
to? I don't remember
Give me chills.
a lot about what that was, but I just remember
And
that
that
popped
was-
in right now. I just remember, what did we do? Like, what was that about?
That was closer to as we got closer to the top, wasn't it?
I think it felt to me as I remember walking through that, like it was a very short space,
Mm-hmm.
but you could smell the scent of
Mhm.
like the ancient smells of frankincense, myrrh, lilacs, like that whole, just I don't even know how to explain it, but it was more of a keep going kind of energy
It
for
was
us.
encouragement, yes.
Yeah,
It
that was
was.
really cool. It was very cool.
Then we eventually made it to the top, though I have to admit, we stopped several times to check in to see if we still had to keep going.
We did. Have we reached it? No.
Can we turn around now?
No. Go to the top.
Are you sure?
About 3/4 of the way up, though, there was an activation of the pyramid that was
Yes.
under the earth, and it had the top of the pyramid had either gotten closed or damaged some way or somehow, and like if you've ever been to Bear Butte, it's just dry and barren, and there's no trees, very few trees, no plants, very few plants. And
It's very sparse.
yeah, very. And the message that we got was that damage to that pyramid had stopped plants and trees from growing. So hopefully that will change.
Yeah.
So we activated the
It's
top of the
reactivated.
pyramid. And the mountain seemed to be very happy about that.
I think because when we finally got to the top, there was like the sense of joy and
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
elation or euphoria, maybe is the
Mhm.
word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And we were so exhausted that I'm not sure that was coming from us.
No,
That is not coming from us.
It wasn't coming from us. It was. It almost felt like hugs of sort, in that you just felt like you were wrapped a little bit in joyfulness and gratitude.
Right? And we had support the whole time.
We did.
Right?
We
'Cause
did.
We had spaceships there with us the whole
We
time.
did.
Did we not? As soon as we got to Bear
That's
Butte,
right.
they came in and they were there. And I can't remember. Most of them left after we got to the top and
After we were at the
activated it.
top.
Right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think a couple stayed, but most of them left after that.
So as the uncreation of abandonment, there was an activation of, what was the activation?
This is why we're supposed to take notes, guys. I don't remember what the activation was.
Well, we activated the ground. With the pyramid being reactivated, it was going to allow the place to regrow and refurbish and get back to its original beauty, and not be so sparse and barren. Am I right, or am I?
Yeah, but the abandonment piece.
Oh, I'm
the
sorry.
abandonment piece didn't we activate that? Like we activated channels within the earth, didn't we? And was that the teleportation?
Teleportation.
Piece.
Wasn't there an activation of essence that we could actually understand ourselves beyond love and move into the essence of who we are? Like the real truth of the energy, the consciousness, the wisdom, the seven powers of the soul, basically.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think there was.
Yeah.
I felt like there was a deeper
There was.
activation of that
There was.
Oh, and then
through the love codes that we brought in through Mount Shasta.
Right, and
Right.
as we were going up Bear Butte, do you remember the uncreation of? There was a lot of uncreation of fears
Yes.
that was happening.
Yes.
Right, personal fears and
Mhm.
and the area fears
Mhm.
and the mountain itself, just the uncreation of the. I don't know if I'll use the word oppression, but that's the word I'm going to use.
Mm-hmm.
Just in the mountain and in the energy
In the-
around there,
yes.
so that pyramid could be activated.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of a lot of fear pieces.
Yep.
Just personal things. I think we all had stuff that came up that we were like, yeah, okay.
Yep.
We can let that go now.
Yep.
Done.
Done.
Don't need it anymore. Yeah, and we didn't hang around at the top a real long amount of time, but we stayed there a little bit, for a few minutes, and
We looked around.
Yeah, looked around.
5 minutes.
checked out, asked if there was anything else. Is there more? Is there more?
Else you want us to do?
And the trip down was,
Like half hour, 45
Yeah,
minutes.
it
We
was-
were down.
it
It was
was-
very fast.
it was good.
And we stopped a couple times,
Mm-hmm.
but there were no dimensions coming on the way down. It was
No,
just
It was just the
Third
straight
dimension.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
We learned a lot. Like we learned a lot about answering the call and how to just go with the flow.
Mm-hmm.
And we learned that the exhaustion that we had, right, that actually allowed us, because we were so exhausted, we weren't resisting. Like whatever message we were getting, we're like, okay, great, let's just do it, right? Because we're so
Yep.
tired, we're not gonna like overthink it or try to ask the hows or the whys or the whatever, right? We didn't get in the way. We were just like, okay, if that's what we need to do, let's do it so we can be done.
Let's just do it so we can go. You're right, Sarah. We did have that.
exactly.
Yeah, we did.
And we knew we had to be off the mountain by 3, wasn't it?
Yes.
Like that was the message we got from the very beginning. Even that morning, we had to be off the mountain by 3.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't remember. Did it start raining at 3?
No.
Well, there were clouds that were coming in, and it looked like it was going to rain. And then as soon as we got to the top, they all just disappeared.
Well, along with the spaceships.
Yeah. No coincidence there.
Yep. Oh.
So what we learned about us as a triad, I want to say, is that when you answer the call to your intuition, to whatever really was created there that day, that you can create dimensions, you can heal things instantaneously, you can be returned to the creator that you really are. I think that's probably one of the things that was very evident, very evident, through that whole couple days, was that we really are the creators.
And our journey didn't end there.
No, it did not.
So we're going to invite you to our consciousness adventures, which we are planning to have for ourselves anyway, but we're wanting you to come along.
If you'd like to join us for one of our consciousness adventures, we'd love to have you. We will get together and do what we just described to you. We're going to get together and we are going to follow our intuitiveness, follow the call that we get, and whatever that is, that's how the day will flow. And it's an amazing experience. And if you join us, you'll get to come and help, or you could watch if you don't want to help, but you also could get to ask your questions and get your questions answered. And it's, even if you just come to observe, it's mind-blowing, but to actually come and participate is amazing.